Hi, sweet ones, and welcome back to this week's episode of Embodied Divinity. I'm so excited to have you here as we breathe deep into life happening for us. I know this last week and weekend, hell, this last decade has brought up so much for so many of us. Today, we're diving into something tender, something that aches in all the ways we try to hold it, but whispers to us when we dare to release. Today we're talking about surrender. And on Friday, I'm releasing a new affirmations track on my Spotify Music and Apple Music account that allows you to deepen into surrender. So if something arises for you today, something moves through you as you listen, stay tuned for that. You can look me up on Spotify Music, Apple Music, all the music platforms under Nakayla Mariah, and this track will be called Surrender. So I've been thinking a lot about this battle, or whatever you want to call it, the one between the ego and the higher self. It's wild how it can feel like a tug of war inside of us. There's this part of me, all of us really, that wants to leap into the arms of trust, to feel that sweet relief of just letting go. And yet there's fear, that fear of falling. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, knowing deep in your bones that the wings to soar have always been yours. And still you hesitate, you cling. And I do it too. I have so much faith in the process, in the divine, but the ache still shows up. That moment where you think, what if? What if the ground beneath me disappears? What if I can't find my way back? There's been so many times in my journey as an only parent, as I moved through cancer, as I moved through so many hard relationships, when I just wanted to be held and supported by the universe, when I just wanted someone to take care of me, to protect me, to provide for me. I would do it myself in all the ways, constantly healing and fixing all the things I felt were broken inside of me. And the universe kept telling me to let go, to fall, and I thought I would. I thought I did. But in these moments, I was still grasping at all these strings of control, clinging to the cliff, scared of falling below. And there's these moments when everything feels so hard and everything feels so easy. And you're not really sure what way to go, but you're clinging to anything familiar, anything that feels safe, any kind of answer, any kind of control. And then you realize you're holding on to nothing. Have you ever felt that, where you catch your gripping so tightly, thinking it's all keeping you safe, only to find your hands empty? Like so many times, I've been clinging to all of these illusions of safety and control. And really, they were only perceptions of my mind based on the past or an idealized future, but nothing real or tangible. It's in those moments where I laugh and cry at the same time, because I see it so clearly. We're holding on to the illusion of control. And when we release it, when we surrender, that's when the magic happens. That's when the divine steps in. See, when you're clinging, you don't make any room for the divine. When you're holding so tightly to this perfect image, to this perfect vision, whatever it may be, there's no room for the magic to flow through. So I'm hoping today, instead of just telling you to surrender, to let go, to fall, because that can seem so vague, I want to break this down in a way that feels really real. I want to make surrender something we can hold, something we can practice, even when it feels impossible. So let's go through it. Number one, there's the awareness of the ache. If you're listening to this, you know what ache I'm talking about. Before you can surrender, you need to know what you're holding on to. What's that thing in your life right now that you're gripping onto? That idea, that vision. What's causing the ache inside? It could be a relationship, a dream, an identity, or simply the desire to be in control. For me, surrender often starts with tears, with a knot in my stomach, with a sleepless night where I know my ego is clinging to something my higher self knows needs to be released. I have to feel that ache. I have to let it be known. Whenever there is any sort of uncomfortable sensation, that is your sure sign that you are out of alignment with your highest self. That is your sure sign that your ego is clinging to something out of your control. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel like you're caught between faith and fear. Honor that. When we resist these feelings that bubble up inside, we only create more energy into them. It's in allowing them to know, yes, I have some fear and I also have this faith, and letting them cohabitate in the same space. That's where the power comes from. Number two, we feel the ache and now we're going to name the fear. Really, really name it. What's the real fear beneath it all? Not the surface level fear, but the root. Are you scared of losing your sense of self? The way you perceive yourself, the way others perceive you? Are you scared of failure? Maybe even are you scared of success? Scared of what it fully means to step into your power? That's for you to decide. But it's in our full-fledged honesty of really looking in the mirror, looking at what's beneath the surface, that we find this answer. For me, I've been scared of letting go because it feels like giving up control. And let's be honest, control is seductive as hell. It makes you feel like if you just plan enough, work enough, think enough, you can control the outcome. But what I've learned is that surrender is not about giving up control to some chaotic void. It's about giving up control to your higher self, to something more divine, to something that is zoomed out, that part of you that is not stuck here. In this microscopic view we have of this 3D reality, it's when we zoom out and realize that we are multidimensional beings having this human experience. Can I trust my highest self enough to lead the way, to know that her vision, that her knowing of this life surpasses mine being the ego, the one who's in this vessel having this human experience, my higher self being the awareness that I'm having this experience, my higher self being the innate consciousness that we all are. So we're feeling the ache, we're naming the fear, really truly naming it. And next, we're trusting the unknown. This is where the faith steps in. Surrender doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you trust that there's something greater holding you. It means you trust that even if you fall, you'll land exactly where you're supposed to be. That's the thing. I've had to remind myself that surrender is about trust, not in the outcome, but in the process. And there's this mantra I repeat to myself way too often. I trust that I'm always supported, even when I can't see the full picture. I know that everything is working out for my highest good. Let's say that together. I trust that I am always supported. Even when I can't see the full picture, I know that everything is working out for my highest good. So we're feeling the ache, we're aware that it's there, we're naming the fear, the really deep root fear. We're stepping into trust falling into our higher selves, that divine wisdom. And then we have the release, and this is often the hardest part. It's where the ego and the higher self butt heads the most. The release is the letting go. The moment where you open your hands and say, I trust. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming. It means you stop trying to control the outcome. The release looks different for everyone. Maybe it's a conversation where you speak your truth and you let the chips fall where they may. Maybe it's quitting a job that no longer aligns with your soul. Or maybe it's simply sitting in meditation and handing your fears over to Source, trusting that you don't need to figure it all out on your own. For me, surrender feels like breathing again, after I've been holding my breath for so long. So we're here, we're in the release. And it's after that release, when we're wide open, that we receive what's meant for us. After the release, there's this moment of peace. It might not come right away, but it does come. And when you finally let go of what's not meant for you, you create space for what is. This is where the beauty of surrender unfolds. You're no longer fighting against the current, you're flowing with it. And that's where you'll find me, in the flow, scared, but moving. Trusting what's meant for me will always find its way. So to those of you listening, if you're standing on that cliff right now, unsure if you can trust the wind, if you can let go, know that you're not alone. We all stand there at some point, and sometimes the bravest thing we can do is open our hands, close our eyes, and leap, knowing that we're always held. Surrender isn't the end. It's the beginning. For me, I've had this belief lately that that maybe I was meant to be a mom, but not necessarily a partner, not somebody that somebody else loved deeply enough to protect and provide and to choose. And being chosen was this big thing for me, and I tried so hard to make myself into the version I thought would be chosen over and over again. And then I went on this journey about 10 years ago of really starting to choose myself over and over again. And it was hard and it was lonely, but I really fell in love with myself and my life. And in these last few years, as my kids grow older and they don't need me as much, and I'm finding myself with space in my hands, I'm finding myself really craving that partner that I can create more with, that I can expand more into the fullness, that I can pour all of this love that I have bubbling up inside of me into. And there were these moments when it just felt like it was evading me. And so one night I was praying to Source. I'd release the outcome. Just really decided to hone in on the excitement and joy of being an available woman with kids that were grown and really just going on an adventure of life. And the universe said to me, and I wrote this into a poem, so I'll read it for you now. And the universe said, can you let me take care of you? I've watched you carry so much, shielding and nurturing with every ounce of your strength. Now it's time for you to rest, to lean back, to let me be your protector, your provider. I will stand as your guardian until the one arrives, creating a sacred space where you can soften, where you can lay down the weight you've carried for so long. Let me hold you in my steady embrace. In my arms, you are safe, and I promise to shelter you from the storms that once felt too heavy to weather alone. You no longer need to fight every battle. You've done more than enough. I will provide for you, meeting your needs before you even know to ask. Allow yourself to receive. Feel the strength of my presence around you now, a fortress built on unconditional love and unwavering support. Sink into the softness of your own being, for I am here to uphold you, to guard your dreams, your peace, your sacred heart in my hands. You can finally let go. Fall freely and know I will catch you every time. I will stand firm, holding space for you until the one arrives, the one who will meet you as I do, strong, steady, and devoted. But until then, my love, rest in the knowledge that I am here, fulfilling every promise so that you can simply be. And this is the part I've had to remind myself over. Surrender is about trust, not in the outcome, but in the process. Can you trust that you will be held along the way? Maybe I don't trust the outcome. I don't have this idea of it because I don't see a version of it that's within my control. But I can trust more than anything. Two things for sure. I trust myself to catch me every time I fall, and I trust the universe, my highest self, to be there, holding me, uplifting me, protecting me, and providing for me as I move through. I'm trusting the process. And you might say to the universe, I'm trying so hard to trust in the surrender, but it feels so hard. I've been let down so many times. I don't see a way where this can work out. And the universe will say, I hear you. It's true. Surrendering after being let down can feel like the hardest thing to do. It's like wanting to trust the universe, but the past keeps whispering doubts in your ear. And it's totally valid to feel that weight, especially when you've had to carry so much on your own. And that's the thing about surrender. Sometimes surrender doesn't mean letting go all at once. It can be about loosening your grip bit by bit, giving yourself permission to feel supported in small ways at first. Trust comes in layers. And every time you choose to soften, even just a little bit, you're building that trust again. It's okay to still feel guarded and unsure. Even in those moments, you're still honoring the journey. I truly hope you find those moments of softness and ease, even if it's just a brief breath, a small reminder that you are not walking this path alone anymore. Because you deserve to feel that unconditional, unwavering support of the universe. And I love you, and I see you, and I know how hard this journey can be. Let me know how your process of surrender is going, how your process of letting go and trust falling into the universe moves through your system, how your dance with life feels in this moment. Comment below wherever you're listening to this. And remember to look out for that surrender track coming this week. It helps me to listen to affirmations so that my brain is filled with all the words I need to hear in my lowest moments. And it's my honor to be here with you, sharing my truth and the steps I've cultivated within my own life to sink deeper into surrender. I love you deeply. Until next time, breathe deep and plan on miracles. Everything is working out better than you could ever imagine.